What's going on YouTube?
What's up, y'all?
This is SCL0320.
Your boy Joe Johnson.
Hey y'all, we've got a brand new open discussion for y'all. Good news is my laptop is up and running after 48 hours of brain surgery that I had to do to this thing. I finally got it ready. Got a brand new hard drive. Operating system is operational. Joe's computer is operational. We are ready and back.
We are a go.
Yes. But I had some terrible thing that I saw today. It bothers me. I don't know if it bothers you as much, but I saw the article. It was from Geoff, who's like one of the directors on the DC universe and the DC comics, and he had went out and made a statement. And so the name of this title is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Geoff Johns explains that no DC or movie TV crossover at all, meaning that shows like Arrow, Flash, Gotham, they'll have no connection to the continuity of the DC universe of the movie, such as Man of Steel, such as Batman v Superman, such as Justice League. There'll be no connection whatsoever. So I'll read the article so you can get a perspective too, Joe. Geoff Johns, Chief Creative Officer at DC, was on hand today at the TCA, the Television Critics Association press tour, and CW's The Flash panel, getting ready for the Comic-Con presentation, where he reiterated that he would have no crossover between the DC television and film, emphasizing that they are each their own universes. And he goes on to say, following up with John's post-panel, we asked if there was any feasible way of seeing one of the versions of the Justice League on the big screen and another on the small screen. He said, you will be able to see a lot of the DC characters on the Flash and Arrow. You will not see Batman or Superman. We're on production with Batman v Superman now, so you'll see the characters like Adam, Firestorm, but no Batman, no Superman right now on TV.
Right.
So I have a problem with that. I have a problem with it on so many different levels, Joe. Like, for me, you have sub-characters. These are sub-characters. These are not main characters. I think the Flash more so than him, but these are sub-characters. And you have Batman v Superman, which to me is not even a real sequel to the Man of Steel, because he's going to have his own movie after Justice League comes out, okay? So you got Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, and then you're going to have all these different variations of different movies, such as Wonder Woman, such as Batman, all these other kind of variations. But, so you're going to take a character like the Green Arrow that's been touched on so well with Stephen Amell's character, and even like Grant Gustin, which we've seen the trailer for it. This is a young Flash. This isn't the Flash that's conducive with the future, but you can see that he can grow up on the show. It takes like 3 years. It's going to take 3 or 4 years before the movie even comes out of the Justice League. So they can easily be able to incorporate this character into it. But instead of that, what they're going to do, they're going to recast these characters, which makes no sense to me. If you have a catching up you have to do, such as Marvel now, when you got something like Iron Man that's making $1.3 billion for one movie, yes, Marvel right now is destroying the movie industry right now as far as their superhero dominant movies. And Spider-Man's included in that, technically, and so is X-Men. But predominantly this Avengers initiative that they've cultivated, like, it's just beyond anything that we can really imagine. But does DC have the opportunity of excelling on this? Yes, they do. You know what I'm saying? But we had made a couple points. We were talking about, like, now somebody made a statement. What was it? That they said that the TV, comics, DVD are literally all DC's.
Yo, yeah.
Did you want to expand on that? Or first of all, what are your thoughts about the whole thing?
My thoughts on the whole thing, I mean, I kind of see both ways. How it could be a positive and a good thing. I mean, positive and a negative. I think it could be a positive decision because I've seen instances where people would make franchises based off the movie, like TV shows, cartoons, video games, off of movies. You know what I'm saying? And very rarely do you see those actually be actually their own independent money makers as far as those, because if especially if it follows the movie very strictly. But if you take series is like, if you take Batman for instance, right? You take the Arkham games versus the Dark Knight series. Both of them are very different, but they're very independent and making their own money independently. That's good. Now, but these are, a lot of times you see, like, you know, people base franchises off of movies. And usually it's the movies, then they trickle down to the games and TV shows and things like that. But we haven't really seen too many where the franchises go up. Like, it goes from a TV show to a movie, or to a game to a movie. You know, and that could be a boost if it's done well.
Exactly.
So with the actual TV series characters coming up, it could be a positive.
It would have been.
What could be a I can't say. Depending on how they do it, how it's done.
But the issue is that John's just said that there's no connection at all. There's literally no opportunity. So take all right, we're going into its infancy now. The Arrow series, it is a success. Dare I say almost more of a success than Smallville is. Smallville is one of my favorite shows. It had so many DC characters on it, it wasn't even funny. But what they did with this series, they kind of took the Batman Begins kind of style, and even the way the feel of it, it grounds the Green Arrow character. It doesn't even make him Green Arrow technically. It makes him kind of like just a vigilante and coming into his own. But now you have characters that have superpowers. You have a random character, Atom, that's a DC hero, that's gonna be on Arrow season 3. So I mean, to say openly that you're not gonna have any kind of connection. So imagine like season 5, and Green Arrow, he has to go to Gotham City. He meets up with Nightwing, who's a sub character, which is plausible. He even showed on the 2nd season, spoiler alert, Harley Quinn was on Arrow. Okay, so for them to say Batman and Superman are not going to be any continuity, that's foolish in my opinion. That's the same thing they messed up with Smallville in my opinion. Like, because imagine you get like 5th season finale, and all of a sudden like you hear like on the phone like somebody's coming or XYZ, and Oliver's going in his little cave or whatever, and he gets a glimpse at the Dark Knight. I'm saying, you know, you don't even have the main character doesn't have to be there, but the fact that they were sitting there saying that this character can't even be in this universe, it's even more stupid on the other hand, because now you got the Justice League that you have to have all these characters kind of pick up the slack. You have make them a small cameo in the Batman v Superman, but then come Justice League, they're gonna have their own like meet and stuff like that, versus taking some of the characters that are already being developed and just kind of putting them in there. Because be honest with you, like some of these, the way that they're doing these story arcs for these 2 shows, there are so many different levels that they can go with it and explore even more into the movies. Like Stephen Amell right now could go straight into the Justice League and he would fit in with all of them. On a physicality level, on an acting level, he just got that. He just got it. He just got it. But for them to sit there and cut him off and they're going to just cast somebody else random, it's going to mess up the continuity in people's mind and their perspective of like, okay, well, this is another one. And I mean, it goes the same thing kind of with Marvel, what they did. I mean, because they don't have the rights to X-Men, they had the Quicksilver in X-Men Days of Future Past, but then they're going to also have him in the Avengers, and it's going to be 2 different actors. And I mean, I hate the way that they're doing this political stuff. Like, just cut it straight and dry. Like, DC had the opportunity of not being like Marvel in that make it something that, like kind of Joe explained it, coming from the ground up from a TV perspective, and then involving them into this meated story, and then just kind of keeping everything else when the movie's gone, you can still keep progressing the show. Like, because this affected this in the movie, now the show changes. That means the show never turns dry. And at the same time, you got a building, growing people that are looking at this show and it's like, this is awesome. You know what I'm saying? But now, that's just cut straight in half. There's nothing that we can do about it. And it ticks me off, quite honestly. Because as a fan, I was always hoping when the time came that Batman versus Superman came to the movie theaters, that set the mold that anything was possible. Anything. And be honest, it's true. The DC really owns the animated series. Like they're just demolishing on the DVDs. They're demolishing on the comics. They're demolishing with their new 52 line. They're doing great things, even with some of the what's those you know, like people have those podcasts or whatever, and they're talking about like different interwoven stories and whatnot. Like there's so many different things that people are taking from the DC universe, and they're making these short films. Like if y'all look at this one short film called Grayson, like is very interesting, and it is not true, it's not factual. This guy, he did such a great job with the character, because the way that DC has their sub characters lined up, there's anything they can do with it. And I mean, it's just a growing trend that now everybody is anticipating Batman v Superman, and even more so Justice League and what they're gonna do with it. But for them to just cut the line like that and make that decision like that early, they would have been better off just keeping everybody out of the loop in that decision, because now that cuts a demographic where you got the TV fans that are like disappointed, and you got the movie fans that are like, oh well, they wouldn't have worked anyway because I don't know anything about this show. It's not worth the, you know. And we're seeing day to day or week to week these characters putting their lives on the line, and the actors getting into the characters and have a love for the characters. And I don't know, it just feels like I don't know, they shouldn't have done it in my opinion. But what was your kind of final take on it?
My take on it is, you know, is the integrity of the characters themselves, man. Like I mean, of course. Okay, so if they're gonna do a Justice League movie, you know what I'm saying, and I tell you, it's a given. They're gonna have the same actress play Batman, same actress play Superman. You know what I'm saying?
In the movies, yeah.
That's okay. So they're hinging all this around Batman and Superman, which is understandable, but at the same time, it's like you have all these characters in the Justice League, and it's like they're just gonna throw them in there. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna see where they come from.
The development
aspect of it. And you know, I'm gonna use Marvel as an example. You know, they
perfected it.
They had majority of the characters, if not all of them, have their own movies. 2 or 3 movies.
Before they even met. Before they even met, bro.
You know, and it built it really is. It was cool to see because, you know, you saw where they came from, and you know their temperament, how they acted, how as a viewer it was like you already knew these characters,
yeah,
and you already grew to love these characters. Now with characters like the Flash, Green Arrow, you know what I'm saying, your boy Cyborg, you know, these are people's favorite characters, you know what I'm saying?
And they could have their own standalone stuff.
Exactly. And so it would make sense, you know, especially with the actors in Green Arrow and the new Flash. They are really good. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing for them to actually incorporate them because, you know, you already know where they're coming from, you know, and they're solid characters.
Yeah.
And plus, you cannot, this is what you cannot do. You cannot make a Justice League and then just throw all these heroes together. You know, they need to make, if they do it, I don't know how they're going to do it. I just don't see it practically. How they're going to throw all these characters together and have them be a developing, functional team.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, even if any of y'all remember like the Justice League animated series, when Justice League Unlimited came out, it wasn't even about Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman. It was about the sub characters. Like the Green Arrow had his own episodes where it was just featured him and the Black Canary. Guess what? Black Canary is on Green Arrow. Like the Red Arrow is on the Arrow series. Now, when the movie comes out, when you got maybe Justice League 2, whenever that comes out, like 2020, like you're gonna have like a whole nother story arc to be able to talk around one of the characters, and they're not gonna get that face time that they deserve. It's impossible. They're not gonna. It's way too many characters. And another thing, they had said, I think the Martian Manhunter, they were gonna treat him like kind of like a side character. Martian Manhunter is like even more physical, and the attributes and things that he can do is so vast, and they're not even treating him like he's a main character. So I don't even know if he's even gonna be in the Justice League movie. I might have a problem with that. But I'm hoping for the best. But this news really did put me down. I don't know. I'm gonna see where it goes from here. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it, Joe. If you got something else, I mean,
I wonder if I don't know. Right? I wonder if they're gonna have, you know, in the Justice League movie already established, you know, that the Justice League is a team, and they just jump us in, you know, the action. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they're gonna do that. Maybe, but it would be cool. It would be really cool to see development of these characters, because the only negative that I see about this is they're not doing. Really, the main issue is there's not gonna be too many of these characters actually having their own independent films, but they're gonna be thrown into this movie, which to me kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, even you can't even have cameos with these characters. You have to have staple actors, stable people who are gonna own these. You know what I'm saying? Roles. They're just gonna have to own these roles.
And that's the thing, that's the worry, because Batman v Superman, it really, I mean, they've already shown Jason Momoa is probably gonna be Aquaman. They showed Ray Harris is gonna be Cyborg. Gal Gadot is gonna be Wonder Woman. I think Gal Gadot is gonna have a little bit more face time, but these other characters, I don't even know if they're gonna be in there for less than minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, I see why they're doing it, because they're trying to catch up. But they could have caught up a whole different way. They could have used the TV universe to be able to implement these characters. I mean, somebody like Cyborg, he could have been introduced on the TV. I mean, when you got somebody like The Flash, he is one of his best friends is the Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? And who knows what they're going to do with that, because Ryan Reynolds might not even be in this. They might recast him. If they do, I hope it's Bradley Cooper. But because Marvel already sniped him, that ain't going to happen probably. And so I don't know where the WB and DC are focusing. I worry about it. And I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go back, but I remember when like shows like the Justice League and Batman Beyond, and they just after 3 seasons you just go, and these are epic like shows. Like even Young Justice, they just go. So whoever is in the creative process of the way that the dynamics of these things are supposed to work, I don't know, they just jump ship. I think the only thing that stayed consistent is that the movies, the direct-to-DVD movies, have just evolved in ways that I just never could imagine. The comics have just gotten amazing as well. But when it comes to the movies and when it comes to the TV shows, the animated TV shows, the live-action stuff has been really good. And so, I mean, we got Constantine coming up, we got The Flash, we got new season Arrow, we've got Gotham. So I mean, they're doing great things, but I think that they shouldn't have just said they're gonna draw the line. I don't see how they could say that openly. I think that's gonna literally deter some of the people away. But that's all I have. Look for us. We actually got a guy that is requesting, and definitely follow his channel. His name is Jorels, as JOR-ELS. We're gonna be doing a collaboration with him a little bit later, Joe. It's gonna be on the trailer, or the leaked trailer of Batman v Superman. Is it real? Is it not? But me and Joe, we're gonna have an open conversation, and it's gonna be a live stream, y'all. We're gonna give y'all a scheduled date when that's gonna be. We gotta talk with Terrell's about it, but we're gonna be on the line with them, and maybe we'll actually have some of y'all have any questions if you have any. But anyway. This is SCL0320 signing out.
What's up, y'all? Joe Johnson.
Y'all have a good night.
I'm up here yawning on camera, bro. Like,
Ninja
I'm sleepy, bro. Holla at y'all later.
We thirsty.
Yeah.
Want some milk.